Hey everybody, welcome back to Pokemon Spotlight. I've had a lot of requests recently to do another Pokemon Spotlight, and if you guys like these, let me know, because there's a whole mess of different videos I can make, and if this is what you guys want to see, I need to know that, so this is what I can spend my time doing. It takes me an hour to get enough battle videos of the stuff I want to show you, so it is somewhat time intensive, so if this is what you guys want to see, just let me know and I'll make more of these. I did have an inbox message a little while ago. This was the 10th of this month by Luxus Kirby. And he said that Wigglytuff is pretty scary. And Wigglytuff is not something I had a lot of experience with personally, but I thought I'd give it a shot. Now, I built Wigglytuff the same way Ray Rizzo did when he won Massachusetts. He got first place this year at Massachusetts with Wigglytuff. It was Assault Vest. This is the same EV spread. You can see it over here if you guys want to use it. I'll be real with you guys, it doesn't deal out a whole lot of damage. I'm not sure if I can scroll this down. Hold on. Well, okay, whatever. But so his special attack really only hits 148 at this investment, which really isn't that much damage. But with competitive, it works like Defiant, but if you get a lower stat, your special attack goes up 2 stages. So if you get that competitive boost, this thing will hit decently. Now, the important thing is it does take hits like a champ. It's got fantastic typing in that it's fairy. And I put on Psychic instead of Hyper Beam because there's been a lot of Gengar recently, especially to stop Kangaskhan and stuff. And so Psychic does a mess on Gengar, and you can easily survive the Sludge Bomb with Assault Vest. Now, if they go Mega, I mean, he's going to win the trade-off. But, yeah, I don't think you one-shot him, but I could be wrong. So, at least I wanted some kind of damage on Gengar. Anyway, guys, so I wanted to show you guys a couple battles here. Now, this is against a guy. He's running Pangoro, so he's trying out new stuff. I'm not blaming him for anything. But led with an Intimidator, Wigglytuff's massive special defense on top of the Assault Vest and its massive HP. Okay, he took that Brave Bird like a champ. 22%, that's nothing. And Dazzling Gleam against stuff that is 4 times weak to Fairy will still do a lot of damage. Now, the trick is there's a lot of players who A, either don't know that Wigglytuff gets competitive, or B, just get in a position where they can't help it and they'll set off your +2 special attack boost. And once that goes off, you start doing pretty respectable damage. So that's pretty good. So that was one. That was one of the earlier battles. So we were both, not very high on the ladder. This one's pretty good too. This really gives you a good example of how Double Dragon's a great lead in this format, but Wigglytuff completely just eats this up. There's almost nothing Salamence can do besides Fire Blast your Wigglytuff, and it's going to set off competitive. And Fire Blast really with Assault Vest isn't going to do anything, and your Dazzling Gleam's going to just destroy these things. I don't think it gets the one-shot without the competitive boost. Actually, I know it probably doesn't get the one-shot. But with the competitive boost, you're looking at some serious damage. A lot of times opponents will lead Salamence against Wigglytuff or Scrafty just because they don't really expect it to come out, but you do some nasty damage, and that battle just ends right there. Because look, I know Wigglytuff's slow, but it'll take a lot of abuse, and as long as you can get that competitive boost, you're in good shape. A lot of people will try to hide the competitive boost in the back of the party, but if you knock out the first 2, they have no option but to send it out and give you that +2 special attack. And at that point, it's just scary. You do run Fire Blast because steals are going to, they super affect you, so you want to hit something hard. Like I said right there, a good example of how kind of underwhelming Wigglytuff can be special attack wise. That Fire Blast didn't even do 40% to Aromatisse. I mean to Aegislash. But in Trick Room, Wigglytuff also works pretty well. That's kind of why I brought him here. He is gonna, or she, yeah, it's a female. She's gonna take out this Aegislash. Of course, in attack mode, now with no boost, Fire Blast does get the one-shot on Ferrothorn, so that's pretty important too. But even in Trick Room, Wigglytuff's relatively slow, so you get a pretty versatile Pokemon that can work both inside and outside of Trick Room. I mean, it's not a great, it doesn't counter Trick Room, but it definitely helps against it, and it'll weaken stuff like Water Spout Blastoise, which is scary. And like I said, a lot of times your opponent will keep the Intimidator in the back, and then they're forced to bring it out if you do enough damage to their team, and if Wigglytuff's out, you're going to get that boost no matter what the opponent wants, you know. Intimidate's such a big factor in this metagame. Being able to abuse that, it's awesome. Destroy him through Rosalie. I do get the crit. Like I said, we're not doing a ton of damage here. The damage output's not... It's not going to be there unless you get the Intimidate. Here's a good example of that kind of lack of damage output. But the bulk is real. Like, that's some real stuff. Gudra's really specially defensive, and obviously Mega Kangaskhan's ridiculously offensive. But thankfully, I don't think Wigglytuff gets hit by Mega Kangaskhan, but it's going to trade blows with this Gudra back and forth. So I think we just end up Ice Beaming, Dazzling Gleaming each other for like all day. Notice how little that did. Like, that was not great damage. I brought Wigglytuff because I know it had Fire Blast for Ferrothorn here, and you got, you know, against Gudra and Sylveon, who are both special, you know, attackers, and then Dragonite, and then Gengar, who I could Psychic. I figured Wigglytuff's got a lot of ability in this matchup, but I'm not sitting out here whomping on stuff. I'm just kind of taking damage, dealing it back a little bit. You really want that competitive boost. Now, it'll work outside of competitive, but not great. Ray did run Hyper Beam instead of the Psychic in the last spot, so he could hit Rotom pretty hard. And I know that does do some pretty decent damage, because you do get stabbed, because Wigglytuff is half normal. But without it, you're going to sit here and you're going to do 24% to Sylveon. I mean, not the greatest. So I wouldn't say this is going to solve all of your team's problems. But it certainly doesn't suck, especially if you need a way to beat Double Dragon. If you just want something to come in and switch into Draco Meteors. I mean, Ray won regionals with it, so it's not suck. And there are so many times. Look at this guy's team. This is the Big Six, like, or Pokemon that constitute basically like the top 8 Pokemon in the format. I lead Wigglytuff here, like, no problem. I go with my Intimidate and then Assault Vest Wigglytuff. And Salamence will lead all the time against you. I've done it myself against Wigglytuff, and I always kick myself because you can't touch it with Salamence at all. You get up that Intimidate to try to buff Wigglytuff's defenses. Thankfully, he leaves my Wigglytuff alone for this turn, which is awesome for me. And, you know, could it be better damage? Yeah. We're not talking about game-changing damage here. But we're talking about stuff that really, you know, it can really neuter a lot of things in the metagame. Like, with Sand, that'll two-shot Kangaskhan. With Sand. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. It's pretty good. It'll sponge up a lot of special attacks. It's almost like a slightly more offensive Chansey with an ability to, you know, force in Intimidates like this and then destroy face. There is literally no way he can kill my Wigglytuff right now without a critical hit from Garchomp, because Salamence cannot touch Wigglytuff. It just can't. Fire Blast is going to do 10% maybe, and then you switch in your Intimidator, and then you just one-shot everything. So the sole function, even just being able to scare away Intimidate from your lead and not leading Wigglytuff, that's valuable in itself. I know a lot of people run Bisharp just to scare away Intimidate, at least from like starting with Kangaskhan and themselves and stuff like that. So Wigglytuff functions a lot like that. It gives you a different option than, you know, Bisharp does, and namely in the fact that it'll face dragons no problem, and it acts as a special wall. But it's just another option to think about. It does work pretty well, and I actually had a lot of fun using it. It's kind of like a funny Pokemon. Don't count on it to do game-changing damage, but with a competitive boost, like if you see Intimidate, like everyone's running Salamence. Every single person runs Salamence. That kind of stuff. You know, its Super Effects Fairy is such a good typing, and it takes damage pretty well. I at least give Wigglytuff a thought, you know, give it a chance. But if you guys get a chance, definitely test it out. It's pretty cool. And, you know, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. As I said, let me know if you like these spotlights, because I can do them with any sort of mess of Pokemon. Let me know if there's a certain Pokemon you want to see in a spotlight, either in the comments section or message me. And other than that, just, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys next time.